Someone hurt you. Perhaps they insulted you. Perhaps they betrayed your trust. Perhaps they treated you unfairly and never apologized. The moment has passed. The person may not even be near you anymore. But in your mind, the conversation continues. You remember what they said. You imagine what you should have said. You feel the anger again. And each time you remember it, the wound feels new. They may have hurt you once, but by holding on to the pain, you begin to hurt yourself again and again. More than 2,000 years ago, the Buddha explained this pattern with the image of two arrows. Imagine a person struck by an arrow. The wound is real. It hurts. Then, before the person can recover, a second arrow strikes the same place. Now, there are two wounds instead of one. In the Buddha's teaching, the first arrow is the pain we directly experience. Physical pain, illness, loss, rejection, betrayal, unfair treatment. These experiences hurt. Wisdom does not make us immune to them. Even a wise person feels the first arrow. The second arrow is different. It is the suffering the mind builds around the pain. The first arrow is the insult. The second is replaying it every night. The first arrow is the betrayal. The second is the anger we continue to carry. The first arrow is something that went wrong. The second is telling yourself, I am a failure. The first arrow is pain in this moment. The second is the fear that it will last forever. The first arrow says, this hurts. The second says, this should never have happened. I cannot bear it. I will never be at peace again. The second arrow does not always look like suffering. Sometimes it looks like holding on. We keep the anger alive because it feels protective. We think, if I let go, they will get away with it. If I stop being angry, it means I am weak. But holding on rarely punishes the person who hurt us. They may be sleeping peacefully while we lie awake remembering. They may have moved on while we continue the argument alone. The anger remains in our body. The bitterness enters our life. The mistrust reaches people who never caused the original wound. The first arrow came from the past. The second keeps landing in the present. This is why the distinction matters. Until we notice them, the two arrows feel like one. We cannot tell where the original pain ends and where our resistance, fear, and resentment begin. We believe we are still suffering only because of what happened. We do not see how often the mind returns to the wound and strikes it again. This does not mean the added suffering is imaginary, and it does not mean we should blame ourselves for feeling it. The second arrow can be automatic. It may be fired before we even realize that the bow is in our hands. The Buddha's teaching is not asking us to pretend that the first arrow did not hurt. It is asking us to see that there are two arrows. Seeing the difference does not excuse the person who caused the harm. You can remember what happened. You can refuse to trust them again. You can set a boundary. You can seek justice. Letting go of the second arrow does not make their action right. It stops their action from continuing to hurt you. Life will keep sending its first arrows. We cannot avoid every illness, loss, insult, betrayal, or disappointment. But it does not have to become a lifetime of suffering. The second arrow may be the memory we keep replaying, the anger we keep feeding, the wound we keep reopening. It is the second arrow we often fail to see. What happened may always be part of your story, but it does not have to control the rest of it. They may have hurt you once. Do not let that pain keep hurting you for a lifetime.